Hey guys, welcome to the 13th C programming tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to use the do-while loop. And the do-while loop is very similar to the while loop, but there is one key difference, and I'm actually going to explain that at the end of this video. So in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to print out all of the even numbers in between 2 and 50 using the do-while loop. So let's just go ahead and get started right here. The first thing that we're going to do is create a new integer variable, and we're going to set it equal to 2. So I'm going to say int I equals 2. And I'm setting it equal to 2 because we're printing out all of the numbers in between 2 and 50. So this is going to be our starting point. Then to actually create the do-while loop, I just need to type the keyword do. And then after this keyword is where I'm going to want to type all of my code that I want it to loop through. Again, just like the while loop, if you're only having it loop through one line of code, then you don't need curly brackets, but if you're looping through 2 or more lines of code, then you need to have the curly brackets. And we're going to be looping through 2 lines of code, so I need to have the curly brackets right after this do keyword. So I'm just going to type curly bracket, and there we go. Alright, so the first thing that we want us to do inside of this loop is just print out the value of I onto our screen. So we're going to say print f modulus I, since we're printing an integer, and then I'm just going to go ahead and end the line so each one of our numbers is on a different line so we can actually read it. Then I'm just going to do a comma and type I, since we want it to print out the value of our integer variable called I. Then after it prints out the value of I, we just simply want it to increment I by 2. In order to do that, we just need to do I plus equals 2. So basically what this will do right here is just add 2 onto whatever the value of I is. So I is 2 right up here, so once it gets to this line of code, I will now be 4, so it just adds 2 to it. Alright, now we're not done yet. We still need to have the while portion, since this is, after all, the do-while loop. So after you've written all of your code that you want your loop to loop through, then you're just going to want to type out the while keyword. And then you're going to want to put 2 parentheses. And in these parentheses, you're just going to want to put your condition that you want it to check. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to loop through this code while this statement inside of here is true. So while I is less than or equal to 50, since we only wanted to print out all of the even numbers in between 2 and 50. Alright, and then we just need to put a semicolon right there to end the line. So it's just going to do this code while I is less than or equal to 50. Alright, so let's just go ahead and run through this code. So right up here, it's creating a new integer variable called I and setting it equal to 2. Then we're printing the value of I out onto the screen, which is 2. Then right here, we're incrementing the value of I by 2, so I is now equal to 4. Then it's going to check and see if I is less than or equal to 50. The value of I is 4, so is 4 less than or equal to 50? Yes, it is. So it's going to jump back up here, print out the value of I. It's going to print 4 out onto the screen, increment I by 2. The value of I is now 6. Is 6 less than 50? Yes, it is. So it's just going to keep looping through this until I is equal to 52. Is 52 less than or equal to 50? No, it's not. So it's going to come down here and exit the program. Alright, so now let's just go ahead and run this and make sure that it works. And as you can see right there, we get 2 through 50, and all these numbers are even. Alright, so now let's go ahead and compare the do-while loop and the while loop. So let me just go ahead and paste the while loop inside of here, and this code that I'm pasting does the exact same thing as this code, only this is just using the regular while loop. Now the key difference in between the do-while loop and the while loop is that in the do-while loop it's guaranteed to go through this code at least once, because it doesn't check anything before it enters the loop. Without question, it just goes to this line of code right here and this line of code right here. Then only after it's done executing this code right here does it check and see if it should go back up to the top and loop again. So even if we were to put a statement in here that would always evaluate to false, it would at least do this code once. So if I were to just go right here and say I double equals 0 and run this program, we should get 2 out onto our screen. Yep, because what it did is it just printed out the value of I, incremented I by 2, and then after it did this code, it checked to see if it should loop again. But if I were to paste this while code back in here and change this to I double equals 0 and run this, we see that we get nothing on our screen, because before it even enters the loop, it checks to see if this statement right here evaluates the true. And is I equal to 0? No, it's not. I is equal to 2, so it just comes down here and exits the program. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial on the do while loop. So, see you guys.